Have you ever thought of the possibility of doing a road trip on an electric vehicle in Nepal or anywhere else? What would you take along with you? Where would you go? And what would you do? Perhaps it's your birthday while you're traveling. Where would you stay? Whom would you meet and make friends with? You never know what you're gonna come across. Lakhe dance in the Tarai? Surely not. And what about the rain if it's monsoon season? Surely you wouldn't let that stop you, would you? Because we certainly did not. Well, we all need a little rest at times. Come on, admit it. We all do. Oh, and here's a tip. Whenever you're not on the go, find yourself a spot with a view to eat, because you better be eating your way through if you're doing so much of running and driving around. You gotta keep your batteries charged up, just like your car.
So good.
So we ate a bit more, and kept eating. We also found things to do to burn all that food up. And then went back at it again.
Damn.
If this is your first time on our channel, you are watching Travel Art. And this is Home Away from Home with Hyundai. And you are about to make a 700-kilometer road trip on the Hyundai Kona electric vehicle.
ए भन्दाखेरि छैन अहिले अन हो चलाउँदा पनि यही नै यति नै हो के
यति नै हो? ए यो रहेछ नि त।
दाब्दाखेरि 80 100 पुग्यो भने पनि यति यही आवाज यही नै हो
ल मैले हेरेकै थिइनँ वाट
छुट्टै हुन्छ होला नि
खाली हो।
Surely you already have so many questions running around your head by now. How and where would you charge your car? And how much could you travel on a full charge anyways?
We have full charge and with the AC off we have 462 kilometers range.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Alright, so before we start our trip, put your seatbelts on and let me sidetrack a little bit. Ever since I can remember as a child, my family has always had a car at home. Oh, that is me by the way, when I was about 3 years old or so. I grew up going around in my father's car, making occasional family trips, the wonderful memories of which still remain intact. Car rides were synonymous to family outings, and it always gave me a sense of being at home, even when I was away. Cars have always been a huge part of my life, but now, apart from being family, it is also a tool that I use to push my boundaries as an explorer, as a content creator, and as human. A tool to increase efficiency in whatever it is that I do. A tool to create my art. Since this was our first long road trip in an electric vehicle, we dropped by the Hyundai service center at Tinkune just to make sure everything was in order right before we left.
Mickey is the app here.
Software.
I had charged the car overnight at home, so we were ready to go.
Let go of the accelerator.
I tried using the regenerative braking system while going downhill after we made our way out of Kathmandu Valley, and surprisingly, we actually gained 11 kilometers range after having traveled about 15 kilometers, mostly downhill from Thankot to Nobise.
11 किलोमिटर रेंज पढिसक्यो है।
The regen allows the car's battery to recharge when decelerating or going downhill, extending your driving range. Oh, and here's another useful feature in the car. Yeah, we had a flat tire thanks to a huge nail we found stuck in there. But we had it fixed at a highway repair shop and we were on our way again in no time. By the way, if your iPhone is out of charge, don't bother looking for the cable.
Wireless charging.
Yes.
Damn.
That's 15.
130 kilometers later, we stopped at a gas station, but not because we needed to refill. We just needed a place to park so that we could get a glimpse of the mountains playing peekaboo behind the monsoon clouds. We then made our final 8.7 kilometer drive uphill from Dumre Bazar all the way to the parking spot at Bandipur. Although a bit narrow, the roads are black-topped throughout, other than the occasional spots which were damaged by the monsoon rains. And all in all, it's just a fun drive. Upon reaching this medieval 18th century Newari trading town, we stayed at the Old Inn, which is our favorite place to stay at in Bandipur. It has some beautiful architecture and over a century-old heritage. Its wooden staircases and artifacts offer a great insight into the traditional architecture and way of life that still prevail here, which you get to see also when walking around the town. And you get to see people going about their usual way of life. And once in a while, you get to make new friends.
साथीहरू तिम्रो
उनी मेरो हाम्रो साथी हो बहिनी हो बहिनी
कति क्लासमा पढ्छ
मा एकमा र 3 क्लासमा
अनि उनी
तिम्रो एक चार हैन 5
If you come to Bandipur in seasons other than the monsoon, you will most likely get to witness a panoramic view of the Annapurna range from pretty much anywhere in the area. But that doesn't mean Bandipur isn't fun without the mountains.
Good morning, Dai.
The terraces of Old Inn offer great views while you enjoy their delicious breakfast. Make sure not to miss out on their homemade fruit marmalades.
Wait, it's white sauce.
And after taking our time to finish breakfast, we made friends with our fellow guests and had a pleasant chat with them.
Wait, so where in France are you guys from?
I'm from Normandy.
Normandy. Isn't that the where the English and the French fought?
Indeed, I live right on the Gillet beach.
Me, the other side, like east of France, Strasbourg.
Strasbourg.
Yes.
Okay. I've been to Paris, but not the other cities.
Time ago?
2017.
Oh, okay, so that's cool.
That's when I was in Germany as well. I actually watched the Dortmund Bayern game there at Signal Iduna.
You did the European tour?
Yeah, kind of. I have friends there, and I'd work there as well. I had to go for a meeting, and then I thought like, why not travel around as well?
Travel that far, then
Yeah,
you might want
yeah,
to stay, right?
yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it was nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Old Inn also serves delicious dinner, by the way. The thakali dinner that we were served was so good. As usual, while I'm done finishing 2 plates of food, this one eats real slow. Oh, and the homemade banana fritters and yogurt that we were served for dessert were amazing. Bandipur was good to us. Before making our way to Pokhara, we wanted to test the Kona on some of the hillside roads of Bandipur, which were great to test its uphill and downhill capabilities, and its clearance, which is actually not as bad as we would have expected. We were able to go through bits of damaged patches of roads with ease, and we didn't mind making use of the sunroof when we could either. When restarting the car after parking on a slope, we were surprised how stable it remains even without having to use the auto hold button, no matter how steep the fall or climb. And one thing is for sure, you will not have any issues when it comes to pickup or acceleration, both of which are as good, if not better, than most 2000 plus cc combustion engine vehicles out there. And Smriti was about to find that out for herself. Once we connected to the main highway, we switched and made our way to Pokhara. We made a quick stop at the Hyundai service center at Porsang right before entering the city in Pokhara. We made another stop, this time for coffee at Lakeside, before making our way to our hotel. The rear view screen and parking sensors are very useful while parallel parking or backing up, and so are the automatically retractable side mirrors. While sipping our coffee, we put up Waterfront Resort on Google Maps and made our way there. You can actually charge your car at the charging station at the parking lot, and our car showed about 5 hours to get fully charged from about 55% battery level. And then it started pouring. So we headed for dinner.
Damn.
The next morning, we went for a swim right out of bed. Followed it up with breakfast, packed up, and were ready to hit the road again. The roads that pass right next to Fewatal on the road to Pame make for a great drive, by the way. Since we were staying at Rupakot that night, we had to make one last stop at Lakeside so we could drop by our favorite bookstore in Pokhara. Every time we're in Pokhara, we always stop by Mandala bookstore for their great selection of books. And we love books. And to anyone asking why books, reading books changed my life. That's why. And I'm not even joking. So get your books and start reading. Start now. I mean, after this video ends. We then paid a visit to our friend Sanudai at Sanu Lake restaurant, which is right on the edge of Begnastal. I was hoping to kayak a bit, but it started pouring again. But we got to catch up with him, and once the rain subsided, we were out of there and on our way to Rupakot. We also got to give Sanudai a ride and dropped him on the way.
नेपालको रोडमा चाहिँ अब यो कन्टेक्समा चाहिँ यो गाडी कस्तो रहेछ तपाईँहरू
हामी पनि त्यही ट्राई गर्न नै भनेर अब लङ ट्रिपहरूमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ यसो ट्राई गरौँ भनेर निस्केको तर इलेक्ट्रिक भएर पनि जस्ट अहिलेसम्म कन्भिनियन्ट लागेको छ बाटोमा तेलसेल गर्न पनि कतै रोक्न परेन होइन हिजो ओभरनाइट मजाले चार्ज भइहाल्यो होटलमै सस्पेन्सरहरू स्मुथ छ
सब इभन लाइक नोइज पोल्युसन पनि कम नै रहेछ आवाजै छैन लग्जरीको हिसाबमा पनि लग्जरी हजुर अब अहिले गाडी चलिरहेछ हजुर होइन केही आवाजै छैन नि लेफ्ट लिएर यता कता म यहीँ गर्छु म त लेफ्टमा साइड ल्याइन्छ धन्यवाद म पानीमा रुच्ने रहेछु नि त त्यो हिसाबले बोल्छु ओके ल
We then made a 12-kilometer drive to Rupakot. We had heard much about Rupakot Resort, but this was our first time going there.
Namaste, Dai.
नमस्ते सर हाम्रो रुम बुकिङ हो सर शुभ नाम सर काठमाडौँबाट सर थ्याङ्क यू सर
Thank you.
थ्याङ्क यू
Smiti did a little victory dance after we got there.
सातो बस है
यो चाहिँ हाम्रो सेकेन्ड फेजको कन्स्ट्रक्सन हो अहिले सेकेन्ड भएको
ए यो नयाँ कन्स्ट्रक्सन
नयाँ कन्स्ट्रक्सन अनि चाहिँ यो चाहिँ हाम्रो मेन बिल्डिङ हुन्छ उसमा रिसेप्सन रेस्टुरेन्ट बारहरू हुन्छ
यो नयाँ बिल्डिङ छ
It's not.
त्यो चाहिँ हामी स्विमिङ पुल 5,000 रुममा अनि उतादेखि तातैको पत्ता
ए यो तलको हो
अनि हजुर हाइकिङ गरेर चौबिस कोट गरेको मान्छे माथि डाँडामा हाम्रो रिसर्चरबाट 15 मिनटको वाक पुरै दिन परदेखि तालको बेनस्थल भयो रुपाताल यो सक्नुपर्छ
टोक्लाको रहेछ नि त टोक्ला small chunks of vegetable mixed with assorted veggies, white graham, Coke Caesar with noodles, French fries, mashed potatoes. What are mashed potatoes? Mashed potatoes. Hot and sour based on this veg.
And while we were having dinner, Smriti showed us how much she loves games and trivia.
दुवैजनाले म 10 सेकेन्ड्स दिन्छु यो क्वेसनको आन्सर गर्नु है त यो होल रुपाकोट रिसोर्टको प्रपर्टी कति रोपनी हो
हजुरलाई थाहा भएर सोध्नु भयो कि
थाहा भएरै सोधे
200 छ
यस
200
फ्रिकिङ रोपनीज
देख्नुहुन्छ यो अगाडि ह्याङ्गिङ गार्डन छ हाम्रो त्यहाँदेखि तल चाहिँ खेतहरू छ अझ माथि जङ्गल
The next morning, we finally got to fully enjoy the view from the balcony. I left the car to charge just before breakfast, after which we went for a little hike. was a short and pleasant hike, and the view from the top is quite spectacular. On our way, we came across a local who was grazing his buffaloes, and I myself came to learn something that I should have probably learned a long time back. There's a nice little temple waiting just for you right at the end of the hike. We were then back in time for lunch, got packed, and needed to be on our way again. Today, we had a 150-kilometer journey ahead of us on our way to Kosara in Chitwan. But first, lunch. And we were treated not only to a delicious meal, but also a spectacular view of the lakes and the lush green forests and rice fields right below us. And we had company. We then headed straight to the car where we had all our stuff packed already and we were ready to go. We just had to make one last stop. I wanted to give kayaking one more go before making our way to Chitwan. So Smriti took charge of the wheels and got me there in no time.
Drive.
I usually drop by Fewatal for a kayak run whenever I'm in Pokhara, but this time I wanted to try it out in Begnas. But I could only find a single blade paddle, so instead of going for one of my usual kayak sprints, I went for a calm little ride. After I got out of the water, Smriti got into the water. So I waited as I ate some grilled pork, enjoying the views that Begnas has to offer. It was already dark by the time we left, so we reached Kosara Jungle Resort for our 2-night stay in Chitwan at 10:30 at night. We put our stuff in our rooms and dropped by for a late dinner, which was delicious nonetheless. Probably even more delicious because we were starving, so we ate as if we hadn't eaten for days. And the next morning, as we always do, we again ate as if we hadn't eaten for days. But today was our chill day. It was the only day in our trip where we didn't have to make it to another destination, so our plan was to do exactly just that. Chill. The pool here is actually long enough for you to do laps or just chill around if you wish. And we spent no less than 3 hours at the pool. This area right outside our room and the restroom was super cool, and it was just a fun place to spend some time in, and there's always so much to explore and look at. It was just green and pretty and tropical, but also super hot and humid, especially for someone like me who sweats like a waterfall.
Alright, let's go for a drive.
The rain had stopped by now and the weather had cleared up, so it was a perfect time to go out for an evening drive. The green rice fields of the Tarai make for a perfect backdrop to drive through the endless plains of the southern roads.
No, did you see that mustache run? What? Did you see the mustache?
We had just decided to head back, so we put up our destination on Google Maps and had only started driving back, but we got distracted on the road by something we had never seen before. We then finally made it back, put the car to charge overnight, and I was in for a little surprise.
Not the salad without the capsicum and onions.
At the end of every day, we backed up all the tons of footage we had from each day, emptied all our cameras so that we were ready to shoot as much as we'd like the next day. Today was going to be the last day of our trip, but we weren't about to make it home until midnight, and we also wanted to drop by a couple of places we knew of in Sauraha. So we charged up for the day and took a walk around the resort for a bit before we left. The Kosara Jungle Resort has 35 upscale deluxe rooms and 2 family rooms in a villa, each with a private pool.
Ooh, secret door.
Even if you came here to do nothing else but just to be here, you wouldn't be making the wrong decision. And that was our 2 days here, where we had an incredible time, We loved the aesthetics of their entire setup, and as was the case of every single place we went to during our trip, the food here too was excellent. And now we were ready to hit the road again. And this time we went out in search of elephants. And although it took us a little bit of effort, we found them. Chitwan is super hot and humid at this time of the year, by the way. And our last stop of our trip was Casey's restaurant in Sauraha, where we stopped by to meet a friend and also for a late lunch. Right after we got to Casey's, although we had more than enough charge left to get home, we thought we'd give it a try charging the car on just any normal wall plug. And here is Smriti with a little tutorial to show you how to precisely do that. While we were eating our lunch at 5 p.m, it started raining, so we hung out with our friend Naresh Dai, who is also the owner of Casey's restaurant, and we also got to meet his dogs. He even had some questions about our trip on an EV, and he actually gave us some pretty good insights as a potential EV customer into what would make him likely to make a complete switch from combustion engine to electric.
राखेको छु अहिले हाम्रो डिजल गाडीहरुमा चाहिँ मैले जुन मैले केटाको डिजल चल्छु भन्दैको त्यो चाहिँ के छ भने गयो जहाँ पनि फ्युल पम्पहरु छ गयो फिल अप गरे हामी हिँड्न पाइयो यो चाहिँ फेरि समस्या ल चार्ज दिन के गर्ने के त अब गर्ने के गर्ने भन्ने समस्या के हैन उयो भने त नेपालमा त इलेक्ट्रिक पावर त कति छ हामीसँग हामी जुन मिसयुज गरेर त हो नि यो जमिन नभएको तर सरकारले प्लस अब हाम्रो सोरुम Hyundai सोरुमले गाडी बेच्ने क्रममा अब दुई पक्ष नै मिलेर ठाउँ ठाउँमा अब इभन रिमोट एरियामा पनि चार्ज गर्ने सिस्टम जुन यो मैले भने हामी चाहँदा खाँदा गाडीको चार्ज होस् तर एकदम फास्ट सिस्टममा किनभने तपाईको अब हामी 5 घण्टासम्म वेट गर्न सक्दैनौँ नि हाम्रो एउटा कुनै डिस्टेन्समा पुग्नलाई हाम्रो एकदम समय कम छ त्यहाँ पुग्नु छ गाडीको चार्ज सिद्धि भने हाफ एन आवर एक कप चिया खाने 20 मिनट 25 हाफ एन आवरमा चाहिँ गाडी चार्ज होस् हामी त्यो ठाउँमा पुग्न पाउनु पर्यो नि त त्यो भने अझ बेटर हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ
हामीले सुनेको चाहिँ Hyundai को पनि अब ठाउँमा स्टेसन अलरेडी रहेछ कति यता अहिले चाहिँ बढी तराईतिर वेस्टमा बढी रहेछ अनि तर यो यता पोखरा काठमाडौँ हाइवेमा पनि नेक्स्ट 2 महिना जस्तोमै इन्स्टल गर्ने भनेर भन्नुभएको थियो.
So there you have it. Turns out it is absolutely possible to make a road trip at least to the locations that we made it to on an electric vehicle without having to worry about where to charge. We definitely hope to see a lot more charging stations installed throughout the country in the very near future so we can make even more and longer electric powered road trips. If you are looking for a car with superb acceleration, decent clearance for the roads of Nepal, as long as you're not going off-roading with it, the comforts and ergonomics of a high-end car on a car that runs on electricity, the Hyundai Kona EV could definitely be the car for you. The car handles superbly and the automatic transmission simplifies your driving experience and is a welcome change in a market like Nepal that is dominated by manual transmission. The pickup and acceleration, I cannot emphasize enough, is absolutely mind-blowing. And this compact SUV is as good as, if not better than many other compact SUVs out there right now. We always felt at home and comfortable throughout our drives, and the convenience of getting to charge all of our devices right inside the car was more than welcome. And finally, having said all of that, it is also just a great looking car, and one that's clearly making some noise without making any sound. We had an incredible amount of fun right from the beginning till the very end of our trip. Bandipur, Pokhara and Chitwan make up for an adventurous and scenic trip with a hint of cultural seasoning, and of course, don't forget to keep your batteries charged up while you're on the road.
I wish it was vanilla instead of butterscotch, but that's alright.